This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening everyone and welcome to Southern Cross News. Around 80 staff are expected to lose their jobs at the Devonport City Abattoir as the facility is forced to change hands today. After weeks of uncertainty, the processor will be up and running again next week, but will only take on a fraction of the work it once did.
Neil Atkins has been a pig farmer for 6 decades and has been using the Devonport Abattoir for 35 years. He says uncertainty around its future has left the industry nervous.
The thoughts of sending pigs to Melbourne to be killed to come back to our customers here in Tasmania was totally unrealistic and stupid, but yet it could have happened.
Last month, the abattoir's operator, JBS, announced it would stop running the beef, lamb and pork processor. And after weeks of negotiation, Tasmanian Quality Meats will now take over the pork processing part of the business on Tuesday. Other abattoirs will take on beef and lamb. In a statement, the managing director said the facility would service the pork needed for the state's butchers and for Woolworths in Tasmania.
We're lucky that Tas Quality Meats from Cressy has come in to rescue us, or the problems would be almost unsolvable.
The arrangement will see TQM manage the pork line at Devonport now for at least the next 2 years whilst we look at other options.
But with less work, just 20 jobs will be needed, leaving around 80 staff, many of them casuals without employment.
That will have a devastating impact on the families of those workers and the workers at that facility. And my heart goes out to those people, particularly at this time of year.
Other abattoirs have also put their hand up for staff, and my expectation is that of the current employees at JBS, around 30 are expected to remain in the industry directly.
The government says it will work with the former staff to find other jobs. Michelle Wisby, Southern Cross News.
10 local jobs will also be lost when menswear retailer Roger David closes its 2 Tasmanian stores in a matter of weeks after administrators failed to find a buyer. Nationally, 500 staff will lose their jobs from 57 stores just before Christmas. The 76-year-old company has struggled to compete with online competition and global discounting. All remaining stock will be priced to clear. A new report has found the cost of care at the state's largest hospital has increased, but it was struggling to keep up with its mainland counterparts. Data from 2015 revealed care costs at the Royal Hobart Hospital increased by 7% over 3 years, significantly more than the national average. But despite this, it was found to be delivering less than Australia's most efficient hospitals. The Health Minister said since the data was recorded, progress has been made to overhaul the hospital's emergency and provide better patient care. A commercial laundry in Glenorchy has been gutted by fire this morning. Emergency crews were called to Total Linen Services at around 7:30, finding a large pile of linen on fire, with the blaze quickly spreading to the roof. An estimated $200,000 worth of damage was caused, with crews still trying to work out what started it. Luckily, no one was injured. The Teachers' Union has rejected a new peace deal from the state government amid an escalating pay row. Education Minister Jeremy Rockliff has pledged to hire 95 new specialist teachers next year, but the union has labelled the move nothing more than a recycled promise.
Announcing scholarships at a TAFE kitchen, Jeremy Rockliff had the chefs impressed.
That looks great. That looks like a happy customer.
Today, the Education Minister cooked up his new offer to feed Tasmania's teachers hungry for a pay rise.
What we have on the table today, recognising the workload, is an additional 95 specialist teachers.
But unchanged is the government's pay offer, still 6% over 3 years. The union only learned of the minister's olive branch through the media and was left waiting at the negotiation table. After a meeting this afternoon, their minds were made up.
Unanimously, we've rejected that offer that was presented to us today. We're very disappointed in the offer, in the fact that it doesn't actually address workload for so many different people.
The government is promising the new teachers will all be hired next year. Labor doubts those spots will be filled.
The most concerning question is how the government expect to be able to attract 95 new specialist teachers into the workforce when they are offering the lowest wages in the country.
The government wants the union to call off stop work meetings planned at the end of the month.
Stop the industrial action. Don't punish parents and students, particularly when the government have come to the table with a very good offer.
It's still unclear if that action will see some schools close for the day. Sean McComish, Southern Cross News.
A man who raped an elderly woman after invading her home in Launceston has today appeared at Hobart's Court of Criminal Appeal. Christo Brown, who was 18 at the time of the July 2015 incident, is appealing his conviction and 8-year sentence. His lawyers today telling the court evidence shown in the trial by another woman who claimed she was sexually assaulted by Brown should not have been admissible during the trial. Director of Public Prosecutions Darryl Coates argued the jury was strongly directed by the judge in how to consider that evidence. The appeal decision has been reversed for a later date. 120 Tasmanian same-sex couples have tied the knot in the last 12 months since the day marriage equality was voted in by Australians. Lifelong campaigners say a weight has been lifted off their shoulders since the vote, but still more needs to be done.
Raising a toast. Rodney Croom celebrating a year since the momentous announcement when Australians overwhelmingly voted yes to same-sex marriage.
We're a better nation, we're more inclusive, we're more open, and perhaps most importantly of all, the sky didn't fall in.
Today, Yes campaigners reflecting on what it took to get there.
The marriage equality debate in Australia was 14 years of hard slog for many people across the nation.
A lot of people take for granted that they can show their love and be who they are, where now we can show our love and be who we are.
Sue and Geraldine have been together for more than 2 decades. They'd married overseas in 1998.
Then we found out it wasn't actually legal, so when it came in here we got married again in July. So twice married now.
Some remember the campaign with mixed emotions, pointing to hurdles still to overcome.
It was quite a full-on experience, but we're certainly glad it happened.
Part of those tears, I guess, as the announcement was made, was not only, yes, it's a yes result, but almost 40% of the population voted no.
Hurdles strongly felt by some members of the trans community. They say they're still not legally recognised.
As a non-binary person, the only way for me personally to have equality in society is if I have a birth certificate that doesn't have my gender on it.
Male and female is the best way of demarcating our society, and that's the way that most people think we should keep it.
Of course there's continued discrimination and continued stigma, but we can take hope from the changes that have happened. The positive change will continue to happen in our wonderful island society.
Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
Primary school students were today treated to a close-up look at one of Tasmania's most important life-saving resources, the Westpac rescue helicopter, making a special landing to teach children just what to do if they get into trouble.
A special look inside a life-saving chopper, luckily not for a medical emergency. The Westpac rescue helicopter touching down at St Leonard's Primary School today.
It was really cool because I really like aircraft. It was cool how they done a lap first and then landed, and the sound was really cool.
Students learning the importance of safety and emergency services.
It was quite cool but scary at the same time. I think it's a great experience for all the kids here, and it's cool that people come in to talk to us about it.
The school specially selected from 4,500 across Australia to host the visit after taking part in a safety education program. Hearing today from a police officer, pilot and paramedic, all working on Tasmania's frontline.
Kids see the aircraft flying around but don't actually see the people inside it, and when we can talk to them about what we do, then they can understand it a bit better.
The kids always get excited about the chopper and ask lots of questions, and it's very exciting. They love hearing from the crew about, how fast does it go, that type of thing, so it's really great.
Inspiring the next generation of emergency crews. Michelle Wisby, Southern Cross News.
Streets in Hobart's CBD will be packed full of Christmas spirit this Saturday for the 38th annual pageant. The parade will feature over 2,000 participants, including cultural displays with some furry friends.
The pageant's about everybody, so we like to see diversity, we like to see multiculturalism, we like to see aspects of Hobart that we don't always see. So it's a wonderful event, and it's special because it shows the colour and diversity of Hobart.
Christmas Cheer kicks off on Saturday at 10:30. A program helping homeless dads live with their children has been given a cash boost to keep going. Hobart City Mission says many fathers moving into accommodation don't have the opportunity to live with their children. Today, their DIY Dads program received an extra $50,000.
Often the fathers are coming from homelessness, so they don't have the accommodation to otherwise have their children live with them.
The exciting thing about DIY Dads is that here we have an organisation that's actually working with dads, and it's making a difference. It's making a difference in the transgenerational family breakdown and domestic violence issues.
Around 8 fathers are taking part in the program, which has been operating for the past 2 years. Let's take a look at the day's business and finance news now, with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. A rally in the last hour of trade has wiped out heavy afternoon losses on the Australian share market, narrowly preventing a third straight session in the red. The ASX 200 index rose 3.2 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 72.72 US cents and 55.89 British pence.
Barely a whisker has separated the fastest 30 riders in Stage 1 of the Tour of Tasmania. Dylan Sunderland claimed the honours in today's stage, but it was a Tasmanian making lots of noise on the hill climbs.
After taking out the Tour's first testing hill climb, Tassie rider Oliver Martin was setting a red-hot pace. He led the 5-man breakaway as it sped down Golconda Road towards Lilydale, leaving a 70-strong peloton trailing a minute behind. The breakaway continued to hold its own at the halfway point of today's stage. Martin was joined by under-21 riders David Williams and Kees Duverstein at the front. But as expected, the peloton was making up ground, negotiating the back roads of Bangor en route to the Batman Bridge. Widely considered to be the postcard shot of today's proceedings, riders started picking up the pace as they crossed the Tamar. The landmark signalling the three-quarter mark of the 115-kilometre stage, which began in Georgetown. The original breakaway was replaced by a gang of 30 making a gruelling gallop to Grindelwald's goal line. And for the second time in 4 years, Dylan Sunderland claimed stage honours, although the Bennelong Swiss Wellness cycling rider admits he had intended to be the support act for a teammate.
We were actually working for our sprinter to try and get him over the top for a sprint, and we opened the lead out with about 500 to go, and I seen that we had a small advantage, so I took advantage of that and went early and managed to hold him off.
A champagne finish nonetheless, although Sunderland remains 9 seconds behind overall leader Raphael Feinstein.
I misjudged the last 500 metre to go where Dylan Sunderland, he took off and I wasn't right on his wheel, and it's a bit tactical. There were tired legs in the bunch, so yeah, but 3 more stages to go, and I think there are plenty of opportunities to go up for a stage win.
Tomorrow's stage is a steep one, running from Longford to Powattina.
And after being dumped by Bellamy's, the Launceston Tornadoes have found a new naming rights sponsor. St Luke's Health is partnering with the team, which made it to the championship game last season in the now defunct Seabull. The Torns say there will be more announcements to come as the side prepares to enter a new league in 2019.
Good evening. A cool day in Hobart today, just a top of 13. Launceston with a state's top of 22. Burnie reached 20 while Devonport got to 18 degrees. Elsewhere, Cressy reached 21 today. Flinders Island and Smithton 19, 18 at Lowhead, Scottsdale and Sheffield. St Helens 17, Strawn and King Island 16. Grove a top of 14 degrees today. On the close-up, low-level cloud across the state, thicker at times about the eastern half. On the satellite, a cloud band sat over the Tasman Sea with low-level cloud over eastern coastal areas of the mainland, convective cloud over inland northern New South Wales, Queensland and the top end. Tomorrow, a cold front will move to the central bight. A high will develop over multiple centres, with one to the east of Tasmania. A broad trough remains over the west, north and eastern areas of the continent. Coastal waters and north to northeasterly winds at 5 to 15 knots, tending northwest to southwesterly at 10 to 20 knots from the west in the afternoon. Swells to 2 to 3 metres in the west and south, but below a metre in the north. Friday's forecast now: Hobart and Campania, a shower or two, 17. Possible shower for Huonville, 17 also. Showers in the north tomorrow: Launceston 19, Devonport and Georgetown both expecting 17. Showers on the way for Burnie tomorrow, 17. A possible late shower for Strawn, 15. Wynyard a shower and 18. Showers forecast for St Helens, 17. A shower or two for Swansea, 18. 17 for Port Arthur with a shower or two also. The UV forecast still very high across the state. On to the weekend forecast, and Saturday showers about the west and south during the morning, otherwise a fine day. Sunday possible early showers about the north, but otherwise fine. And on to Monday, a fine and partly cloudy day forecast. Capital cities now: Darwin a possible shower and storm, 34. Brisbane fine and 29. Sydney a cloudy, 22. 23 in Adelaide. Perth a sunny, 35. And Melbourne a fine day with a top of 20 on the way. And right now it's a cloudy, 12 degrees in Hobart, Launceston 16, Devonport fine and 16. Jo, that's where we'll leave the weather.
Beautiful. Thanks so much for that, Laura. And thank you for your company tonight. We'll see you a bit later with updates. Bye for now.